Good morning all. Welcome to SPC channel. So in the previous classes we done two lessons. One is from history, another one is from civics. Today I'm getting you all to the next lesson of history, nationalism in India. So in this lesson, I am going to let you know a lot of information regarding Sahara Satyagraha, civil disobedience movement, Simon Commission, all this information which I am going to share with you all in this session. So first of all, what do you mean by nationalism? I already let you know in the previous classes. But nationalism in India was started with the anti-colonialism. Anti-colonialism means we have a colonist rule. Actually, we were under the control of the Britishers. So, what kind of rule which had given by the Britishers? No, that was the colonist rule. That was the colonialism. Anti mean against. So, all the people joined together. We fought against the British rule and we demanded the freedom from their hands. That is what nationalism in India was started with the anti-colonialism. And one more thing, we let the Britishers to rule us by dividing ourselves. We are not united at all. For that reason only the Britishers came to India to rule us very easily. But when anti-colonialism was started in India, when nationalism was started in India, we were together. We don't mind. This people belongs to that caste or this people belongs to this caste. We don't show any partiality between any one of us, and we are being together and fought against the Britishers. That was the nationalism in India. And we were together under the guidance of Mahatma Gandhi and Congress Party. We were together under the guidance of Congress Party and Mahatma Gandhi. That was the beginning of the nationalism in India. And let's see what was the situation was prevailed in India during 1919. What was the situation was prevailed in India in 1919? Actually, in 1919, we had a World War, first World War between 1914 to 1918. That war came to an end with the Treaty of Paris. That all this information which I already informed you when was the first World War, 1914 to 1918. So, let's see what was the consequences of the first World War, or what are the changes which brought after the first World War. The first thing have been actually political and economic situation have been totally changed. Political and economic situation have been totally changed. After the first World War, political situation changed and even the economic situation was changed. That was the first point. Political and economic situation was changed. And in the war time, they spent a lot of money. In the previous class also I already shared with you. Nothing would happen easily, no war will be happen without spending even a rupee. We have to spend more money for the accommodation, for the food supply to the soldier, for the troops, for everything we have to spend a lot of money. So in the war time also, the situation will change and they spend a lot of money for the defense. Defense mean for the safety purpose. Defense mean army, for maintenance of army, for run of war, for lead of war. They spend a lot of money for the defense. So when they need money, they get the support from the banks and they got a loans. And as well as taxes have been raised. And next thing, customs. Customs were collected. Custom tax was collected, and as well as custom collected, and many kinds of taxes have been introduced. Customs and income tax have been increased, and they collect more money from the people. And next thing will be the prices of the product have been raised. The food crops rate will be raised. After the war, the food crops rate will be raised. Crops rate increased, it became double, it became triple. The tax, food amount and the product amount have been increased. Then, sixth one, they couldn't meet the proper food supply. They couldn't meet the proper food supply. They weren't able to produce the food supply as per the need of the people. So in short, I can tell you, food supply was reduced. Food supply was reduced. When food supply was reduced, no, by the way, lot of people are not able to get the food. At the same time, many epidemic diseases also spread there. Many epidemic diseases also spread there, like influenza. Influenza is one kind of the disease which easily spread among the people, no? That influenza also spread there when there was a food supply. So some people were died due to the food supply shortage. Some people were died due to the attack of the epidemic diseases. So many problems was occurred. And even in the year 1921, 12 to 13 million people. 12 to 13 million people were died due to both food supply and the epidemic diseases. What do you mean by epidemic diseases? Epidemic diseases mean which can easily spread among the people and which can kill a lot of people. That is what corona is known as a pandemic. Epidemic means it's also kill the people, but pandemic is kill more people at a time. That is what the difference between the epidemic disease and the pandemic disease. So lots of people died in the year 1921, especially 12 to 13 million people who died because of the epidemic diseases and for the shortage of the food supply. So this was the situation after the First World War. So after the First World War, there was a political situation and economic situation had been changed. Defense, they spent a lot of money for the defense. So when they spend a lot of money for the defense, no, they got the support of money as a loan, and as well as they increased the taxes. And custom taxes have been increased, and the income taxes also introduced. Crops rate became double. Actually, before the First World War, we can buy a food crops with a rupee or with 10 rupee. But after the First World War, they have to spend more money for buying even a small quantity of the crops. Then food supply became down. Food supply became reduced. And when food supply became reduced, no, at that time some epidemic diseases also spread among the people. As per the data, as per the census report 1921, 12 to 13 million people who died due to both food shortage and as well as with the epidemic diseases. So this was a political situation. This was the condition of the world after the First World War. Next thing will be a Rowlatt Act. So now all the people being together and fight against the Britishers and fight against the colonial rule which will happen in India. And Rowlatt Act. In 1919, the Britishers passed the Rowlatt Act in Imperial Legislative Assembly. So how we are having the Legislative Assembly in the state, where they passed all the bill, where they introduced all the law. Just like that, Rowlatt Act was passed in the year 1919 by the Britishers in Imperial Legislative Assembly. Let's see, what do you mean by Rowlatt Act? In simple, many political leaders who fought against the Britishers, that political leader who caught in a prison, who were imprisoned, am I right or wrong? Yes. So when they are imprisoned, no, according to the Rowlatt Act, as per the Rowlatt Act, we can retain the political leader. We can retain the political leader who were in prison for more 2 years without any trial. For example, if any political leader who arrested and who was imprisoned, they no need to release him. They no need to release him as per the Rowlatt Act. They can retain him for more 2 years without any trial. Trial means without any investigation, without any discussion with him. They can retain him within a prison for more 2 years. That was the evil of Rowlatt Act. That was the evil provision of Rowlatt Act. This Rowlatt Act was known by Mahatma Gandhi as the Black Act. Black Act. So Act means law. Act means law. So this Rowlatt Act was passed, this Rowlatt Act has this kind of provision, So this Rowlatt Act has been known by Mahatma Gandhi as the Black Act. Black Act. And Black Act, he known this act as the Black Act, and he started the Hardal. He started the Hardal on April 6. April 6. What is Hardal? Hardal means procession or Satyagraha. He started the Satyagraha against Rowlatt Act. He also want to stop to follow the Rowlatt Act. He also want to make the Britishers to get back the Rowlatt Act. So he started the Hardal, he started the Satyagraha against the Rowlatt Act in the same year, 1990, on April 6. On April 6. The Hardal was happening that many people who joined in the Hardal, and especially in same year, on April 10. April 10, people joined together and took a procession. Procession means a mass of people who being together and led a march. Against the government in the street. No, more people joined together and took a walk on the street against against government, and they demanded something. No, that is not a procession. So on April 10, people who joined together and led a march in Amritsar. Amritsar is a place in Punjab. Amritsar is a place in Punjab where people joined together and led a march against the government. When this procession was there, that procession was attacked by the Britishers. The procession was stopped by the Britishers, and that procession was attacked by the Britishers. And when this procession was tried to stop by the Britishers introduced the martial law. The Britishers introduced the martial law. So martial law means some strict order have been introduced. The people couldn't come outside, the people couldn't join together at any public places, the people don't do any revolt against the government, the people don't do any procession against the government, and some emergency situation have been implemented in that year, especially during the time of Rowlatt Satyagraha, when people who join together and fight against the British, they introduced the martial law. This martial law led by General Dyer. General Dyer, who was a general of the British Army, who led a martial law. Who only the leader or who only the person who supervised the martial law. So Dyer was a person who led a martial law, who only look after everything what's happening there, and is there anything happen against the government, that action taken by the Dyer. And on April 10, this martial law was introduced. On April 13, more people would join in Amritsar. Again, more people would join in Amritsar in Punjab. Some people who join in Amritsar, in the place surrounded by a wall. Actually, a big compound or a big campus was there. There all the people would join together, and some people would join together for fight against the Britishers. Some people would join there for the celebration of Baisakhi Day. So Baisakhi Day was one kind of festival celebrated by the Punjabi people. That celebration was done in that place. So some people would join there for the purpose to observe the celebration of Baisakhi Day, and some people only would join there who fight against the Britishers. But all these people who join there, that has only one entrance. That place has only one entrance. That entrance was blocked. And the place was surrounded by General Dyer, who surrounded the place, and that entrance also blocked without any warning which delivered by that Dyer to the people. He started to shoot the people. He started to kill the people without any warning to them. So the people couldn't come outside, and that building has raised wall. That campus has raised wall. So the people couldn't climb on the wall also. So many people were dying in the place. That was Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Jallianwala Bagh was a place where all the people would join together. Some people who joined together for the purpose to fight against the British. Some people who joined together for the purpose to observe the celebration of Baisakhi Day. So when the people joined there, that has only one entrance. The place was totally seized by General Dyer, and who started to shoot the people without any warning. So more people have been died in that place. That incident was called as Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Which was in the year 1919. And I want to let you know one more thing. Mahatma Gandhi. I want to tell you, before this incident, we have one paragraph in a book, that is the arrival of Mahatma Gandhi. When Mahatma Gandhi came to India, and what were the struggle which he initiated in the beginning of Indian nationalism. He didn't involve in the anti-colonialism instantly. Actually, previously, before joining in the Satyagraha, Salt Satyagraha or Rowlatt Satyagraha, before that, all this Satyagraha, he took many struggle against the Britishers in India. Let's see what are the struggle which carried by Mahatma Gandhi initially in Indian nationalism. So Mahatma Gandhi, who arrived India, who came to India from South Africa in the year 1915. So as we know, Mahatma Gandhi, who led a march against the racist rule of South Africa. In South Africa, racism was there. Racist rule only was there. Racist rule. What is a racist rule? Black race people, white race people, that kind of discrimination was prevailed in South Africa. So first march, first satyagraha which carried by Mahatma Gandhi in South Africa against the racist form of government. So after doing that march successfully, after doing that work successfully, he returned to India by the year 1915. The first satyagraha which carried by Mahatma Gandhi in India was Champaran Satyagraha. Champaran was a place which was Champaran was a place which is in Bihar, which is in Bihar. Champaran Satyagraha, which led by Mahatma Gandhi in India at first, that was in the year 1917. Actually, the peasants of Champaran, the peasants of Bihar people who don't want to do the indigo cultivation. Actually, we are ready to do the wheat cultivation, rice cultivation. That only our primemost cultivation in India. But the Britishers compel us to follow compel us to the indigo cultivation or the other kind of cultivation only which compelled by the Britishers to do to asked by the people from India. That's what the peasant don't want to do that. The peasants who don't want to do that. So the peasants who involved in the fight against the Britishers, that fight was supported by the Mahatma Gandhi. So first satyagraha which carried by Mahatma Gandhi in India was Champaran Satyagraha. Champaran was a place in Bihar. That satyagraha was took in the year 1917. Second satyagraha was in the year 1918. Champaran Satyagraha. Next Keda Satyagraha. Keda Satyagraha. Keda was a place in Gujarat. So Keda Satyagraha, also led by Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1918. Keda was a place which was in Gujarat. Actually, in Keda also peasants were struggled. They are not able to pay the tax to the government. They are not able to pay the tax to the Britishers. So Britishers punished them. So for that, peasants took a revolt that we don't want to pay the taxes to you. That revolt also got support from the people, especially that peasants who got support from Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1918. So second satyagraha which led by Mahatma Gandhi was in the year 1918. That satyagraha was referred as the Keda Satyagraha. Third satyagraha, Ahmedabad mill strike. Ahmedabad mill workers who led a march or who led a fight against the Britishers. That mill strike also got the support from Mahatma Gandhi. That also happened in the same year 1918. So three kinds of satyagraha was took by Mahatma Gandhi initially. After then only he carried the Rowdy Satyagraha, he carried the civil disobedience movement, non-cooperation movement, and the further movement whichever we are having in Indian nationalism. So first Champaran, second Keda, and the third one Ahmedabad. So this was the introduction for Mahatma Gandhi, and in that thing he explained what do you mean by Satyagraha. Satyagraha means to find the truth, to seek the truth. We are at one society, but Satyagraha is a real meaning to find the truth. That was a meaning which had given by Mahatma Gandhi for the term Satyagraha. The next thing will be So, Khilafat movement. Khilafat movement was started by Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. So first I let you know what is the Khilafat movement. For what reason the Khilafat movement was initiated in India. First thing, after the first World War, there was a treaty signed between Turkey Caliph. Turkey was ruled by Caliph. Caliph was a leader for all the Muslims of the world. So actually Muslim not only resided in that particular country, all the parts of the world consisted or covered with the Muslim population. So when there was a treaty which signed between the Turkey Caliph and the victorious country of the First World War, no? They introduced the harsh term. They introduced the harsh term on the Caliph. They ill-treated the Caliph. They tried to confiscate the powers of Caliph. Powers also has some powers also was there in the hands of the Caliph. No, that powers want to confiscated by the victorious country. Confiscate meant get back. Actually, many power was in the hands of the Caliph. That Caliph power also want to get back by the victorious countries of the First World War. That wasn't liked by the Muslims of the world. So, all the countries want to render the support to the Caliph. In India, we had given the support by the formation of Caliph movement or the Khilafat movement in the year 1990, which was started by Shaukat Ali and as well as Muhammad Ali. And in that duration, India was have the division of Hindus and Muslims. In India, we are having the partition between Hindus and Muslims. So Mahatma Gandhi want to bring the unity among them. So Mahatma Gandhi, who also supported to the Khilafat movement, and even Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali and Mahatma Gandhi, who traveled to all the places and who investigate the condition of the people in all the places. That kind of thing was happening in those times. So Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali who started the Khalifa movement or the Caliph movement in the year 1990. The Khilafat movement got the support from Mahatma Gandhi. Caliph power want to get back by the First World War victorious countries. So when he was ill-treated, when he faced this kind of situation, all the countries who rendered their support to the Caliph. So finally, in India also we rendered our support by the way of formation of Khilafat movement in the year 1990. Next one, non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement was initiated by Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1920 in the Nagpur session of Congress. Congress will conduct the meeting every year in different places. So in Congress party conducted the meeting in the place of Nagpur, where Mahatma Gandhi proposed the Satyagraha for non-cooperation movement. He initiated the policy of non-cooperation movement in the year 1920 in the Nagpur session of Congress. What do you mean by non-cooperation movement? Actually, according to Mahatma Gandhi, he wrote in a book that the Britishers came to India and they came to rule us with the support of the people. If the people didn't support to the Britishers, mean how they can rule us. So for that reason only he initiated the non-cooperation movement. In a book you are having the question, why need non-cooperation movement? Because the people only supported to the Britishers. So if the people didn't support to the Britishers, mean how they can rule. For that reason only this non-cooperation movement was initiated in the year 1920 in the Congress of Nagpur session. Let's see what do you mean by non-cooperation movement. Is nothing. Non-cooperation movement means the actually at those time British government only run the railways, run the school, run the colleges, run the courts and all the government public properties and all the public organizations which function under the Britishers. But here non-cooperation movement means we don't go to school. The student must boycott school. The teacher must boycott school. The judges or the lawyers must boycott at school, and they given lot of title and even lot of award to the Indian. All the title and award must return to the Britishers. For example, Mahatma Gandhi who got the Kaisar-i-Hind, Rabindranath Tagore who got the Knighthood Award, Knighthood title. You see, the first point, according to non-cooperation movement, what was the first provision of non-cooperation movement? All the leaders who all got the award, who all got the title from the government of the Britishers, they must return it. For example, Mahatma Gandhi, who got the title Kaisar-i-Hind, that title was returned, and knighthood was a title was given by the Britishers to the Rabindranath Tagore. So all these titles written by these leaders. At the same time, whoever got this kind of award, this kind of title, they must return it. They must boycott all the government organization. That was the provision of non-cooperation movement. Let's see how was the non-cooperation movement in cities. How was the non-cooperation movement in cities? Same thing. The people who are studied in a school, who are studied in a college, who are doing the practices in court, no one went to that public organization. No one went to these places. No one went to these places, and they picketing the liquor. They picketing the liquor shop. Liquor shop means that the intoxicating drinks will offered by some shop, no? That liquor shop have been picketing. Picketing means that was spoiled or that was attacked by the people who are all involved in the non-cooperation movement, and all the kinds of hardan which happen in the cities. But in some situation, actually, when the student didn't go to school, when the student didn't go to college, when the people didn't go to any kind of work, for certain time, after some certain time, they couldn't do that, because if there is any school which run by India, or if there is any school which run by Indian nationalist leader, the student can go there. But there was no school which run by the Indian leaders, and there was no court which run by Indian leader, and there was no colleges which run by Indian leader. When this kind of problem was there, no, after some duration, the people went back to work. Initially, they granted their support to the non-cooperation movement, but later on, they were deviated. They were get back to their work, and the Indian leaders who insist the people, who compel or not compel, who insist the people, who inform to the people to wear the khadi cloth. Khadi cloth. Khadi cloth means the people who used to weave the cloth by their hand, no, that is a khadi cloth. The Indian cloth only want to use by the leaders. The Indian cloth only want to make the people also to use. But khadi cloth is very cost. Khadi cloth was very cost. At the same time, milk cloth only very low cost. But milk cloth was produced by the Britishers. But the Indian leaders want to compel the people to use the khadi cloth. So this also couldn't purchase by the people, and they couldn't retain with this for a long duration. They couldn't use the khadi cloth and they couldn't support with the non-cooperation movement for a long duration. But anyway, due to the khadi cloth cost, due to the no school which run by the Indian leaders in India, because of this situation, because of this problem, the people who uh, who not ready to support the non-cooperation movement, who not being with Mahatma Gandhi, who get back to the work of school, who get back to the work in school, colleges, and even in a court. But anyway, in some situation, that non-cooperation movement became failed in cities. Then let's see in villages. Let's see how was the non-cooperation movement in villages. Non-cooperation movement in villages which led by Ramchand. Which led by Ramchand. So Ramchand was a person who led the non-cooperation movement in villages. And not only that, he started the Kishan Sabha. Ramchand, who started the Kishan Sabha. In village also, the people who rendered their support towards to the non-cooperation movement. In villages, that movement was led by Ramchand. Ramchand who started many Kishan Sabha, and that Kishan Sabha totally against to the landlords. Totally against to the landlords. Actually, landlords who collected more taxes from the people, no. So this Kishan Sabha was organized. Kishan Sabha was organized against the landlords, and there was a Bega system. There was a Beha system. Begar means the peasant who compelled to work in landlord field, and they have to work without any wages. The peasant have to work under landlord, but they never pay to them. The peasant or the farmers who have to work in the agricultural land without any payment, without any wages. That was a Bega system. So Bega system also was existed. That was led by the landlord. So this Kisan Sabha was organized for the purpose to fight against the landlord, and as well as for the abolition of the Bega system. And finally, more violence was existed when non-cooperation movement was initiated in the year 1920. No, meanwhile, many violence also practiced in that, like the people who destroy the police station. Many, especially 22 policemen who died in the attack of the people. So when this kind of violence was existed, this kind of violence was happened in the non-cooperation movement. No, Gandhi called off the movement. Non-cooperation movement was called off. Finally, non-cooperation movement was called off. Actually, you want to do everything through non-violence only, but violence activity also practiced in this movement. So when this kind of unnecessary thing, when this kind of violent attitude was happening in that movement, no, he called off the non-cooperation movement. So this was the these were the information which had given under this side heading. So remaining thing we are going to learn about what is Swaraj and when was the Simon Commission, what do you mean the civil disobedience movement. So these are the information which we are going to looking forward in the next session. Please share, support and subscribe. Thank you.